Another patch means another set of patch notes that we can talk about regarding Wizard 101. We'll go over all the changes in this new patch and give you guys my opinion as well. A lot of good things that happened in this patch. I think this is one of the better patches, and honestly, I think a lot of us needed this patch in my opinion. So if we pull up the patch notes, we got some right here from the 26th. Of course, that means last night or yesterday, depending on how you view it. But we do have some changes as well as some spellments. So they added Aquila Chronicle spellments to badge rewards. So if we go over to Wiz, of course, I have already had the badges done for a minute. But if you go right here, there's different rewards that you can get. Right here where it says, you know, defeat Sisyphus 15 times, specifically this one gives me Jupiter's Might, and it's going to be tailored towards your own school. So you can get that one. Of course, if you challenge mode, you get a gold key. But all these other ones, so that's a gold key, that's a gold key, because those are challenge modes. But these other ones that require like a certain amount of defeats, these will give you certain variations of spellments when it comes to like a set amount. So definitely it's worth doing those badges just to get those spellments. In total, you get around, I think 160 if I do the math on it. Yeah, I think it's like 160, right? Yeah, it's 160. You get 160 spellments for your own school just by simply getting these badges done. So highly recommend that you do so. And honestly, it makes the spellment grind even easier. I know certain people might view this as, hey, now I have to get the badge on all of my characters to get more spellments. But at the end of the day, that is up to you if you want to do that. If you want to grind your spellments. If you want to just grind spellments via Sisyphus, or you can go do challenge mode Sisyphus or challenge mode Sand Squid, those are probably going to be your best options when it comes to farming spellments. So the video I made still stays true. So either do challenge mode Sisyphus or do challenge mode Sand Squid if we're going to do the four-man strat where you have everyone buff the Storm Hitter and do a Sirens. That's like the only reason I would do it, if anything. But that's up to you when it comes to spellments. Still a big change when it comes to these spellments. We've came a long way, honestly, when it came to these spellments. So I mean, hey, I'll take it. And I think everyone else should take it too. I think 160 spellments every own school, that's very good. And I know some people are going to ask, why don't we get 160 for every school? Yeah, I don't know. But still, this is a huge improvement no matter what, whatever way you look at it. 160 spellments for your own school, very good. Another thing that they fixed is the balanced skeletal warrior. Now, a lot of people have been waiting on this. I have been waiting on this. Even just before this video, I have made the balanced skelly warrior, which is the hybrid. I'll put an image on screen of how you're supposed to make the skeletal warrior. All it is you need to use any of the hybrids that basically already exist in the game. So either any of the elemental or spirit ones. You combine that with the balanced skeletal pet that you can farm from Sisyphus, or you can use the balance fawn. Now, I do want to put this as a side note. One specific combo is giving you a higher percentage than what it's supposed to. So if for some reason you have the mythic hybrid, this is the one that has the horn on it and everything like that, and there's already a video talking about how to farm all the pets and such. But if you have the mythic hybrid and you combine that with specifically the balance fawn, it is 100% success rate. It is not a 10%. All these are supposed to be 10%, but specifically that one is 100%. And yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning in this video. Of course, if you're watching this video in a later date, it might be patched, it might not exist anymore, and it might just go back to 10%. But when I did it this morning, I did a quick run because people kept on telling me to test it. And yeah, first hatch, I got it, and I did it with someone else as well. First hatch, we got it. So it is 100% success rate. So obviously, if you're watching this in the future, possibly fixed by then, it might be back down to 10%. But hey, if you want to save yourself some crowns, specifically use the mythic hybrid and combine that with the balance fawn, and you'll get yourself the sandy skeletal warrior right off the rip. And this pet is no joke. I have mentioned this in that video that this pet is like, in my opinion, a near must-have on your account. Reason being is it gives you that dust up card. That dust up card is so good. The fact is it gives you 3 universal traps that you can place on the enemy. That is 1 pip and they're all 20% traps. Very good for multi-striking. Very good. So highly recommend that you do not sleep on this pet and you do get it. It's going to be used a lot in challenge mode strats, maybe possibly even boss strats if you can't faint. And just overall a very good pet. Highly recommend that you make it. Also, back on the patch notes, it says more adjustments will be made in the future. I assume it's relating to the other formulas that currently still don't work. For like, for example, the other schools. There's like a set of formulas that I've showed in that video that like were grayed out, and those still don't work. Whatever's not grayed out works, but if it's grayed out, it still doesn't work. So I think that's what they're referring to, at least when it comes to the patch notes. If you guys have made it this far into the video, just wanted to remind you guys that 75% of you guys that watch me on a daily basis are not subscribed. So do me a huge favor and subscribe. We're on that grind to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. All right, now let's get back into the rest of the video. And then 2 spells were changed within this patch, which is Scion of Balance, bottom path, and Chameleon Clash. So if we switch over to the balance, so this is where we, quickly go over to the balance and see what they've actually done to our balance school. Balance will always have a soft spot in my heart, just because it's one of the few schools I do like, in my opinion. But let's go over to, for example, balance Scion, wherever it is, right here. And yeah, it's definitely a big change. It's no longer, if the enemy has a certain amount of pips, you will do basically like a lot of damage, which was like 1900, 1916, around there. Now what it means is you deal, well, we can use the top or the max tier, for example. Deal 800 balance damage, or gambit 2 dots on the enemy and 2 negative charms on the enemy for 1960. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, and a lot of people don't know how to feel about this, because the fact is, where are you getting these 2 dots from? So we'll have to see how this plays, whether it be in PvP and advanced combat. I don't know how I feel about this specifically for the raid, when it comes to trying to do the 1% badge equivalent in the Ghastly Conspiracy raid. You guys let me know your thoughts on Scion of Balance. But the other spell that also got changed was Chameleon Clash, specifically Path Beat. Now I believe what it was is, before it was something about like if you have a negative aura on you or something like that, you get like your pips back essentially. But now they nerfed the damage, and also now it gives you 2 balance pips and a regular pip if you and the enemy have a negative aura. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this either. I don't think they changed the specific fusions. I mean, they would have said, but yeah, the fusions look basically the same, so the fusions remained untouched. But when it comes to the actual base spell, specifically Path B, yeah, so PvP players are a little bit in shambles. I feel like Balance is getting like some nerfs. I think they're also probably eventually, I don't know if they will, but they probably will at some point nerf as well as Scales of Destiny. I know some people have been complaining about Scales, yeah, in PvP, just because it does a lot of damage, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't know, I don't do PvP like that, but I have no issue with Scales. So we'll have to see. I mean, Balance is going to get some changes here and there, and people are going to hate it, love it, whatever. It is what it is. Now, another thing they added was 3 new dual shield treasure cards, and these 3 are obtainable from the Guild Island as well as the arena. But I'm here at the Guild Island and I don't see it. I mean, I could be blind, but I do not see what shields that they're referring to. They're probably in the arena right now, just not in here. So let's go to the arena and let's quickly check. So if you visit Jordo in the arena, I think he should have the new treasure cards. Yes, he does. So these are, oh, there's all toss these in here, that's kind of crazy, but these are the new set shields, I guess. So we have Cinder Shield, which is a bounce spell, and what it does is it gives you a -70 to the next death and fire spell. We also have right here the Crystal Shield, which is ice and life, and then lastly we have the Levy Shield, I don't know. I don't know, but it does storm and myth. So very interesting to see. I mean, I'm assuming it's eventually going to be added to the PvP island. I just think that's just a visual bug, but or maybe they just didn't add it in time. But we'll have to see about that. But these do seem like good combos. I mean, it's mainly going to be affecting PvP players, right? Affect certain strats. But I don't know how viable this will be for advanced combat. Maybe it's too early to say. Maybe there'll be a certain fight where I need this. Who knows? But can't really give you a full-on opinion when it comes to that. And I don't know if it's worth using in anything else at the moment, at least just come to my mind. So there's my take when it comes to that. And then there's some other things that they fixed, which we'll quickly just go through. Fix an issue where DQing from Fight Fest would prevent players from interacting. This has happened before. I've experienced this with my alts, very annoying, but at least it's fixed. Resolve some issues where select target spells had broken spell text. That is correct. I think it was specifically with the specific ones where you would enchant them. I could be wrong, but I know someone did mention that to me, but hey, it's fixed. Aquila skills of knowledge will no longer appear for players who have not defeated Sisyphus. Just a little cool thing right there that they're fixing. Added gear to standard mode Medulla and Titan's Trident. I don't know if this is referring to new gear. I mean, if it was new gear, I feel like somebody would have mentioned it, but I think they just didn't have stuff in their pool. I'm pretty sure. I think it's something like that. But if not, you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Fix an issue where Tellus's minions in challenge mode would reappear in the middle of combat after already being defeated. Yeah, I've never had this issue because I would just AoE. So yeah, if you're doing single target stuff and you're killing one at a time or something like that, yeah, that's kind of annoying. But hey, at least it's fixed. Kraken Pet card now counts towards fusion formulas. This is needed. I think I've noticed this too. I think I even made like a Kraken Pet on an alt to do some fusion formula stuff, and I realized that it doesn't work. So I was just like, what? So I ended up having to train Kraken. But at least this is fixed now. Plus, regardless. Archivist Owl Statuette housing item no longer has an overhead name tag. Don't know what housing item this is. I don't know. But at least it's fixed. The dojo in Mushu no longer appears blank. Cool. And resolve animation issues for Celestia vendor Humphrey Thatcher. Cool. Stuff that I just didn't even know that was happening. But we love the in-depth patch notes. They should keep doing it. As always, I'm always going to mention this. This is the way to go. People like seeing everything that is patched because it shows us stuff is being done. If you keep it minimalistic, people will be like, okay, there's stuff not happening on the game. They're not fixing anything. Seeing stuff like this means, hey, stuff is getting fixed. We like to see that. So keep doing that. To all the people that are working at KI, if you for some reason are watching this video, keep doing the same method moving forward when it comes to patch notes. Always do this moving forward. And then they did say right here that spellment issues with the Scions, which has been going on for a while. But currently in game, if you were to tier up your Storm Scions or any of your Scions, it doesn't show the pop-up anymore. And I don't know if this is fixed. Of course, I think they're just doing a trial run, and they probably should have mentioned it in the patch notes. But I am not going to be tiering up my Scions, just on the off chance it bugs out again. So I am going to wait for like an official patch note somewhere, or some sort of dev note somewhere of them talking about it somewhere, saying like, hey, Scions are fixed, right? Because I'm not trying to tier up my Scion and then lose more spellments, because this has already happened way too many times and it's kind of boring and I'm fed up. So I'm gonna wait for that. If you want to tier it up, go for it. It's not listed on the patch notes, that's fixed, but the pop-up doesn't show up anymore in game saying like, hey, don't tier this up, or like it's currently broken, etc, etc. So there's that. But overall, I think this is a good set of patch notes. I think this is what people wanted, right? Some balance changes for PvP, of course. Some, because a lot of people have been like, having a lot of choice words against balances in PvP. And then the other thing is the balance font's fixed, or not the balance font, the balance skeletal warrior. So that's obtainable, as well as some spellment changes for Aquila. I think this is a plus update in my opinion, and then some other like treasure cards and stuff, were added. We'll have to see if those eventually become trainable. I doubt it, but hey. Still cool to see with all this stuff. But overall, I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I'm not gonna give it higher than 8 because there's some things that they could have done, right? I'm not gonna lie, there's some certain things that they could have done, but I'm only giving it an 8 because you can get the balanced skeletal warrior right now, or skeletal balanced skeletal warrior pet 100% right now for that specific combo. But I mean, it's probably be fixed soon, so there's that. But that is it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.